Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is my husband Eric and my son Eric, who we call Ari because it gets a little bit confusing. And, right? I guess a good place to start is, for us to say that we had a very unexpected birthing experience. We had 2 miscarriages before he came, so we had a healthy but fraught pregnancy with a lot of anxiety and a lot of hope, but a lot of fear as well, and we had gone to a birthing class and had this picture perfect idea of what we wanted to do and how it was going to go, and I filled out our birthing form, and it all kind of just went up in the air. So needless to say, we were on vacation for a weekend down at the shore, and I started to feel less fetal movement, and of course I'm like, is this an issue? Is this not an issue? Because I kept telling myself, and we kept talking about it, to watch it. And then finally, about 4 to 8 hours later, I could push his body parts, like whether it's an arm or a foot, and he wasn't really pushing back. So at that point, we went into the ER, and I was like, again, probably a false alarm. Everything's going to be fine. This is lost talking. And it quickly escalated to where my blood pressure was 180 over 100. I had protein in my urine, and I had elevated liver enzymes. At that point, right, that's what we said.
He was like, I'm coming out.
At that point, Eric wasn't with me yet, and I called him and said, this is an emergency. You need to get here as soon as possible. And so he arrived, and basically the doctor told us, and we weren't at the place we were supposed to give birth. We weren't with the doctor we were supposed to give birth. That we'd never met these people. Yeah. And she walks in. I was 34 weeks pregnant, and she says, you have preeclampsia with severe features, and we have to deliver him now.
Yeah. So I think the concept of trust it had to kind of reset itself at that moment. It was, I think, for both of us, and especially me, because I was supposed to be there to keep everything together. We had to quickly establish trust with suddenly our new doctor and the new nursing staff, to feel comfortable and to trust in their words and their recommendations. So we had ended up calling our doctor, and she had said, you're in good hands. You have to trust what they say, listen to what they say, and everything will be fine. And I think after that moment, we both realized, okay, we're in a good place. We're in a safe space. These folks know what they're doing. We can feel comfortable.
Yeah, and they did an emergency C-section, disempowering in terms of just having no idea what to expect. I'm sitting there thinking, is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it? Am I going to be okay?
Is my wife going to make
it?
Is the baby going to make
Eric's
it?
worried about both of us, and I don't know what sort of birth personality emerged, but more of a you just have to step up to the plate, and you just have to go with it. And as soon as we heard him cry, it was a massive relief. We're like, okay, he's okay. He's okay. And they brought him over and did their thing, showed him to me for about maybe half a second, and then he went off to the NICU. And that next sort of 24 to 48 hours was probably the hardest, because trying to process the fact that you're not well. My blood pressure was still really high, and they were giving me all sorts of drugs that were really intense. That your child is now, because you weren't well, your child had to be essentially, born early. He had his umbilical cord wrapped 5 times around his neck, and they wouldn't let me see him for 24 hours. And so we snuck into the NICU. I should say some great nurses helped us sneak in. And, kind of meeting your child really for the first time through an isolette is really hard. And we didn't get to hold him for a few days. But, it's but the first time holding him still for me was incredibly emotional. He fit right here. He was 4 pounds, 12 ounces. He was hooked up. He had, wires coming out and beeping, and I've really struggled with the sense of loss that comes with like not holding your child, not being able to, connect with your child or breastfeed your child, to like leave the hospital and not bring your child home with you. And we were really fortunate. He's super strong. He was out of there in 9 days. He was a grower and a feeder. And since then, we've had some challenges just with like weight gain and reflux and kind of processing the trauma that comes with a very difficult, like really life-threatening situation. But I think that what we've learned is that he is to be inspired by the life that emerged during this devastating period. And this baby that, Eric means ruler, but we go by, it means ever stronger. And this little boy is that, and
He's
just
determined
and just really fought and like made it aware to us that something was wrong, and is a light every day. And the rest of it we're working on the connection piece, and he's on his own sort of schedule and time and whatnot. And we're, I think just grateful for the fact that we're here.
Out.
Everything worked out.
Yeah, and I think,
From a dad's perspective, why don't you share?
Sure. From a dad's perspective, I was just trying to keep it together. I immediately recognized how fragile the situation was. And I was very aware that at any point in time, anything could go wrong. But of course, I was just trying to stay positive, and everything worked out. And, I think for me, what I took away is that this is not a perfect process by any means. And I think you just have to be okay with that. You have to just be okay with whatever happens, and you have to run with it and own your experience, and be okay with what it is. Because it's not, maybe you will be lucky enough to have the perfect pregnancy, and everything will go smoothly, and that happens the majority of the time. But if it doesn't, that's okay. You just run with it. And then, as the dad, you just kind of have to
Or partner.
Sorry, you just have to be as strong as you can be, and just be there for both your partner and your child.